Going on, everybody? What is going on? The catch fam. I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Hope everyone is having a great start to the weekend and a great Saturday. We got a lot to get into, ladies and gentlemen. Week 6 of the fantasy season and of the NFL season is swiftly underway, or about to be underway. In the morning, we've got a overseas matchup between the Bears and the Jaguars. We got a full slate of NFL games tomorrow. And we got a lot to get into. A lot of updates, a lot of injuries. Week 6 is all over the place. I mean, the season has been all over the place, but boy, oh boy, are we in for a doozy here in week 6. So, you know what we need to do. Some live fantasy Q&A. Anything that you guys need, starts, sits, waiver options, trades, roster reviews, whatever it may be, get in the live chat. We're going to have some fun. We're going to talk some fantasy football. So I do apologize. I think I've only streamed once this week, but my daughter was sick, and then I was like a little bit sick, but nothing too bad. She's been sick for like 2 weeks straight now. It's her first year of preschool, so that's probably why. But I do apologize, guys, that have not been able to stream as often this week. But maybe that was for the best, because this whole week has been so up and down with so many updates and injuries and everything. But sorry about that, guys. But thank you, guys. Great week on the channel here. Looks like you guys enjoyed the videos for the week, so hopefully they have been helpful for you guys. But just want to say sorry for this being my just my second stream of the week, excuse me. So, all right, let's hop into some news. Got a lot to look at here. Okay. I thought this was interesting. Nick Chubb is expected to make his debut next week against the Bengals. Maybe this is the spark that the Browns need. The Chubbster back. Honestly, I'm a little surprised by this. I thought Chubb would be back later in the season. I really, with the state of the Browns right now and how bad that offense is, I really thought it would be like halfway through the season before Nick Chubb decided to return, but his practice window has been open for some time, and he's here, well, almost here next week. But I wouldn't panic 100% yet if you own Jerome Ford. I don't think like we're just dropping Jerome Ford right away. I mean, in the right circumstance, potentially you could if you feel pretty good about your running back situation. But I do expect Nick Chubb to return on a snap count. I don't think he's just going to hop right in here and get, all of the touches right away. But I guess we'll see. So for those of you guys who have been holding on to Nick Chubb, and maybe you need to free up Nick Chubb off of your IR with how many players we have on IR right now. But he should be back next week. Jacoby Myers has been downgraded for doubtful against the Steelers tomorrow. So no Devontae Adams as he nurses this very, very bad hamstring injury he's suffering through. And now no Jacoby Myers. So that leaves Trey Tucker as the wide receiver one. I mean, I like Trey Tucker. Like, I mean, we've talked about Trey Tucker off and on throughout the year. He's had opportunities, but like, no, I'm not going to line Trey Tucker up against the Steelers as a wide receiver one. They're 13th against the wide receiver position. So yeah, I see no reason to try and stream Trey Tucker this week unless you're like in a 16+ team league. And even then, like, I mean, what are we really expecting here? Outside of Trey Tucker, we do have DJ Turner. I don't know where I was going with that. Tyreek McAllister. I don't know much about either of these players. I mean, DJ Turner's been around, but has done nothing in his career. And then McAllister, I've never seen or heard of before. But yeah, I'm just going to say let's not try and get cute here and stay away from the Raiders wide receivers. But for anyone, hopeful that they can play Jacoby Myers and look for wide receiver one volume out of him, he's doubtful for tomorrow. Devin Singletary has been ruled out for Sunday night's matchup against the Bengals. This is going to leave Tyrone Tracy, a player I've been talking about a lot throughout the week on the channel, as the RB1 here. Love this matchup for Tyrone Tracy. The Bengals have been very poor against opposing running backs so far on the season. So if you are a Tyrone Tracy holder, owner, whatever you want to call yourself, this is a great matchup. Bengals 21st against the position. This is a good spot. Sunday Night Football. I like Tyrone Tracy this week. All right, a sad one. Brian Robinson Jr. out. So what does this mean? It's not a great matchup for Austin Eckler or Jeremy McNichols, but maybe a good game script. The Ravens have been good against the running back position so far on the season. Let's see. They come in 6th against the position. So I don't think I really want to start McNichols this week. I do think I like Austin Eckler. I think the game script could benefit him. Gets that kind of PPR floor and all that stuff. But yeah, I don't think I want to stretch and say that we can start Jeremy McNichols against the Ravens. But B-Rob is out. Eckler's probably a solid play here because he gets that, pass catch work. But I like McNichols, but I don't think I'm here for it against this matchup with the Ravens. Gus Bus hits the IR. See ya. I'm so over Gus Edwards. But this is good news if you are a J.K. Dobbins owner. He should see more volume. But what does this mean for rookie Kamani Vidal? I don't know yet. We'll find out. He's set to be active this week. He should be picked up. I mean, he's a good stash. He's 8% rostered. I don't think he's going to necessarily beat out Dobbins. This is still Dobbins' backfield. It's not even a great matchup this week against the Broncos, but we could certainly see more involvement out of Kamani Vidal. So keep an eye on that, and see you later, Gus Edwards. Chase Brown will play Sunday night against the Giants. I haven't seen an update on Zach Moss. He's good to go as well. So he's not on the injury report. So it looks like we're going to get that 1-2 punch out of Zach Moss and Chase Brown this week. Joe Mixon is set to play. So if you've picked up Dameon Pierce, who's off the injury report, not dealing with that hamstring injury anymore, if you're holding on to Cam Akers, I think they're out of the bunch here for the most part. Dare Gunbowale could still see some involvement in the pass game. He's got kind of that unique skill set that Akers and presumably Dameon Pierce don't have in this offense. So I kind of like Dare still, but Joe Mixon's going to play. See you later, Cam Akers. Thanks for the 3 weeks of very mediocre starts. Barring any setbacks, Evan Engram is going to play in Sunday's London game versus the Bears. So see you, Brenton Strange. We'll miss the Strange man. Maybe he'll come back. Maybe Engram will get hurt again. But this is a bad matchup. The Bears have been very good against opposing tight ends so far on the season, as well as wide receivers. But let's see. They come in 8th against tight ends. So I still think you can start Evan Engram, but I don't know how high the ceiling is going to be coming off of injury. James Cook plans to play against the Jets on Monday night. So I talked about Ray Davis in today's video. I don't quite think that Ray Davis is going to be a spot play. I don't think Tyler Johnson is a spot play, but maybe they're worth stashing if James Cook, continues to deal with his injury on and off. I don't know. But James Cook's going to play, so I guess that's good news, barring all the bad news, right? Devontae Adams has been ruled out. Like I said, this hamstring injury has been tough on him. All right, so Michael Pittman has decided to try and play through his back injury, and I think Anthony Richardson he's listed as questionable. He had a limited practice yesterday. Who knows what to do with that? Ramondre Stevenson's out. Antonio Gibson's actually going to get the start this week. I will say I don't love Gibson this week. He's an okay spot play, but I just don't love him. It's not a great matchup. The Texans are 10th against running backs on the season. We got Drake May starting. I don't know if you're desperate. I think you can start Gibson, but I'm not going to say he's like I would prefer like Tyrone Tracy or Trey Sermon before Antonio Gibson. Okay, doke. Yeah, so JT's out, so we can fire up Trey Sermon. Russell Wilson will be active, be the QB2 behind Fields. All right, so that should get us caught up here. Malik Neighbors is out. You can start Rondell Robinson. You can also start Darius Slayton. But all right, there's everything for now to get us started, get us a little warmed up, get all the news out of the way, and let's hop into your guys' questions. Thank you guys for being here tonight. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some fantasy football. Just, even if you guys don't have questions for the week, let me know what your roster's looking like, who you guys are starting, who you guys are sitting, how you guys are feeling going into the week. What's your record look like? What matchup are you looking forward to? What game are you looking forward to? Want to hear from you guys tonight. Let's have some fun. Let's talk some fantasy football, ladies and gentlemen. All right. What is the super chat name? All balls, no D1CK. Thank you for the super chat. Great way to start the questions. Standard scoring format. Bigsby, Slayton, Sermon, Bucky Irving in my flex. Should I just play Slayton in place of Downs if he doesn't play R. Dobbs? Well, all balls, no dick. I will say I like Slayton over Dobbs for sure. I'm not really in on Dobbs this week. Like Dobbs ceiling on the season so far is like 9 points, so good chemistry between, Jordan Love and Dobbs and all that, but it hasn't really shown this year so far. So, I definitely like him over Dobbs, and I think Downs for me is fine either way if it's Richardson or Flacco. I went through last week and displayed this on Sunday morning's video where I went through and compared Josh Downs' stats with Anthony Richardson at quarterback and then with any other quarterback, whether basically Gardner Minshew or Joe Flacco. And the stats are not that different. They're really not. So for all these people saying that Josh Downs is relying on Joe Flacco, he's not. I do personally prefer if it's Joe Flacco, but like I don't think it really matters. But he's kind of in a weird place, right? He had a full practice yesterday, but he's listed as questionable. It's not a good matchup. Tennessee is giving up the fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. Seriously, believe it or not, that's a thing. And with Pittman out, I don't really like his matchup here playing as a wide receiver one. Or no, Pittman's playing. I'm so sorry. But I feel like Pittman's playing, but he's playing. But that's probably good for Josh Downs. So I think Downs is still startable. But yeah, I think the upside does lie with Darius Slayton. But I will say this much. It feels like a great matchup against the Bengals, and I still think it is a good matchup. But the Bengals are allowing the 12th fewest fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. Like their defense has been trash, has been awful, but they're still top 12 against the wide receiver position. So take that into consideration. If you want to go Slayton over Downs, I think that's fine. But I still think I prefer Downs by a hair because I think Downs has a little bit of a safer floor. Slayton kind of brings a little bit more upside here. But Rondell Robinson is still the wide receiver one for the Giants, whether we like it or not. So hopefully that answers your question there on the wide receivers. In terms of the running backs, for me, it comes down to Bigsby or Irving. I do like Trey Sermon as well. Like I think he's very startable. So here's what's interesting. We look at Bigsby, right? It's not really a great matchup. It's just not. And I kind of am worried about this game script for I'm sorry, did I say Bigsby? I meant to say Bucky Irving. It's not really a great matchup against the Saints. Top 12 against the running back position. So I'm a little bit worried about this game script for the Buccaneers. I might be overreacting, but I kind of just have this feeling that I don't know. I'm a little worried about the Bucs going up against the Saints on the road here. The Bucs defense has been pretty friendly for the most part, fantasy wise, but I don't know. I worry here about the Bucs this weekend. Mike Evans really bad in his career against the Saints. The Saints have played well against opposing quarterbacks, opposing running backs. So I want to like Bucky Irving, but I'm a little nervous. Now, when we look at Tank Bigsby, He's got a very good matchup against the Chicago Bears, coming in 22nd against the running back position. But this is still a split backfield. I know Bigsby was the better back last week and has looked very good in the minimal touches he's had on the season, but we're still going to see involvement from Travis Etienne. So I do like Bigsby. I think he has more upside here. And then when it comes to Sermon, like I like Sermon. I do. And it is a pretty decent matchup against Tennessee, who comes in 13th against position, better than I thought, actually. So I personally think take Bigsby has the most upside, but it's a little risky because we're still going to see touches to ETN. So I think I take the perceived volume here, and I think I go with one of the other two, whether it's Sermon or Bucky Irving, but it's very close here. I will say in standard, I prefer the running backs here over the wide receivers. So tough decision. I think if it was me, I kind of look at my matchup and, do you think you need upside? Did you go against Debo or Kittle or, one of the players who had a very good Thursday night football game? Did you start Debo or Kittle? Maybe you can play it a little bit safer, So take that into consideration, but there's a little bit of a breakdown. I think for me, I like Bigsby this week. I'm willing to risk it. But remember, there's still risk with Bigsby. And then in the flex, I think I still play Downs if he plays, but if he doesn't, he can go Slayton. So, but it's definitely close. This is the same problem we had in week 5. Like, he got a lot of these plays, Bigsby, Sermon, Irving, Gibson. Any of these guys can outscore each other. It's going to be very, very close between the bunch, All right. Thanks for the super chat. All BALLZ, no D1CK. What's up, David? All right. Bryce, what's good? Trey, Deontay Johnson, Downs, and Bucky for MH, Spears, and Leggett. I mean, it definitely depends on the roster here, but the best player involved is Marvin Harrison Jr. So, I mean, like, if you're not really in a position where you feel like you need Downs as a flex option, a position where you're not really starting Bucky, then I would probably take this trade. Like, I think Spears is fine as a bench player. Leggett, I've really kind of, I'm just not really there. So yeah, I mean, to get Marvin Harrison Jr., I would do this trade, but what does it leave you with is always important. You're 5-0. Yeah, I mean, if I'm 5-0, and like in that case, you're probably not really relying on Downs or Bucky. So I would do this trade. I mean, I still like Deontay to a degree, but yeah, in general, yes, I would do this trade because I still think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best player here by a mile. What's up, Chase? Good to see you, bro. David, should I start Bucky, Dobbins, Chase Brown, or Tank Bigsby? So once again, like, we're going to be in a lot of situations where these calls are going to be very close. Make sure you guys are kind of trusting your own gut and your own intuition here, because these are going to be difficult calls. I still really like Chase Brown, but he is coming off the injury report. It's a decent matchup. The Giants, definitely not a great matchup, but I feel like Chase Brown. I don't know where I was getting Breece Hall from, but I just got Breece Hall in my mind, apparently. But yeah, I like Chase Brown, but the Giants are top 10 against running backs on the season. So I think you have a floor play, whether it's Bucky, Dobbins, or Brown, then you have an upside play with risk and Tank Bigsby. I'm willing, once again, to risk it with Tank Bigsby this week. So kind of depends on how you guys feel about it, but I'm all for the risk. I'm here to risk it for the biscuit. He was in the must start video for a reason, so I guess I'm leaning towards Bigsby here. But I do like Chase Brown, and Dobbins okay, but like, not a good matchup for Bucky, not a good matchup for Dobbins, not a good matchup for Chase Brown. Any of those three guys could stumble on into the end zone, though. I think Bigsby has the upside. Should I start Ingram, Andrews, or Njoku? Could you imagine in draft season thinking in week 6 you would have Ingram, Andrews, and Njoku. Probably not. I mean, for me, like, of course, once again, when it comes to tight end position, similar to a lot of these fringe running backs, this is going to be very, very, very close. You know, touchdown dependency here. The Eagles are 3rd against opposing tight ends on the season. Their secondary sucks, but they're good against tight ends. So Njoku's got a tough matchup. The Bears are 8th against the position, so Evan Ingram has a tough matchup. And the Commanders are 6th against the position, so Mandrews has a bad matchup here. I will say I think the best game script here is the Ravens and Commanders. And at least Mandrews did something last week. I'm a little worried about Njoku. Like, I didn't even think Njoku was going to play this week. I remember when I first put together the start sit videos, I had him on there. Then I took him out because like he was getting an MRI on his knee, and I was like, I don't think he's going to play, and he was just hurt, and I was wrong. Should have left him in the video, but yeah, I think I just go Andrews here. But once again, it's very, very, very hard to say. Should I start Jake Elliott or Evan McPherson? I think I'd start Money Mac here. Jake Elliott hasn't done a whole lot. 10 points, 7 points, 0 points, 2 points a bye week. How dare you have a bye week? Money Mac 6, 13-8, 13 threes, kicker 12. He's at the Giants. I go Money Mac here. Access, what's up? Start one more receiver and a flex. Dell, B-Tom, Dowdle, Gibby, Najee, Tyrone. I would start Brian Thomas Jr. Guys, I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr. this week if I own him. It's a bad matchup. It is, but at least Christian Kirk's out there. Evan Ingram is back. ETN can catch passes. It's a bad matchup, but sometimes we see with these overseas games, the defense can kind of go out the window. So sometimes we don't. Last week, the Jets-Vikings defensive matchup, but I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr. if I own him, especially when we're comparing him to some of the other players he got here. You know, B-Tom's still got to be the start. In my opinion, if B-Tom is a bust, like, oh, well, you know, I mean, maybe it's not oh, well with the way the season's going, but if B-Tom's a bust, like, I can live with it. I can stomach that, you know? I mean, he's playing great. He's a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy scoring. So, yeah, I just start B-Tom. I know it's a bad matchup, but I'm going to start him. I think I would go Tyrone Tracy here. I do like Rico Dowdle. I think Dowdle's a pretty good start here as well. But Dowdle's kind of got a tough matchup. So the Lions are 7th against the running back position, but they also missed a week. No, they were bad against Seattle and Kenneth Walker, but that was a weird game. I think I go Tyrone Tracy, but if you want to go Dowdle, I'm okay with that too. And I mean, if you want to go Tank Dell, sure. I'm not going to blame you. I like Tyrone Tracy a lot this week. I go Brian Thomas and Tracy, but it's close here. We got a lot of close ones this week, boys and girls. Tommy, what's good, bro? Finally got MT RB2 for the weekend. What is MT RB2? Got my RB2. Pray for Antonio Gibson to deliver. Thank you for listening in at work, Tommy. Let's go, Antonio Gibson. Chef Ran says Tracy to the moon. I do like Tracy this week. Bucky or Javonte? Meh. That's close, Chase. That's close. I mean, Javonte is, I want to argue, the safer play, but he's got a worse matchup. Give me Bucky. Let's go Bucky here. I feel kind of gross about that Broncos Chargers game. Like, I don't think there's anyone I'm really excited to start in that matchup. So, and I could also see that matchup, like, defense just goes out the window. But give me Bucky. John, accept my dynasty trade. What's your dynasty trade? I know I'm the worst at looking at trades. I know. Maybe I did look at this one. Oh, no, 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 no. What is this? No, sir. No. Hold on. I'm trying to. Okay, here we go. I will not trade Amon-Ra St. Brown for Jalen Tolbert, Trey Benson, a first-round pick, and a second-round pick. I can't tell you how many people have tried to trade for Amon-Ra St. Brown with me, and I will never do it. You would have to blow me out of the park. The offer would have to be stupid, okay? I am not trading Amon-Ra St. Brown. There we go. Never had it so good. Lost B-Rob today and A-Chain to the bye. Need one running back, Bigsby, Rojo, or do you think Ray Davis a good play? No, we can't start Ray Davis. James Cook is going to play. I would play Bigsby. Yeah, I'd play Bigsby here. I do think Roshan Johnson is playable. He's got a good matchup. 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. He's going to get points this week if you need points. But I'd play Bigsby. Yeah. Bigsby better have a good game because Bigsby's one of my calls for the week. Chase, this one is ugly. McNichols, Emmanuel Wilson, or Ray Davis. I will go McNichols here because I do think he's going to get touches. I just don't know. It's a bad matchup. But yeah, I'd start him over Wilson or Ray Davis. Yeah, easy. Eckler, Sermon, or Tracy in full PPR. Pick one. I'm going to go Tyrone Tracy here, but any of these guys can outscore each other. It's close. It's going to be close. I don't think Eckler's bad. Frankly, I think Eckler might be the safest, but I like the upside with Tracy. Pick one, B-Tom or Pickens. I'm going B-Tom. I'm just starting B-Tom if I own him. I'm going to ignore the matchup, but I will say Pickens has a good matchup. Now, I know if you own George Pickens, it probably feels like very frustrating. And I'm in a super flex league with 4 bench spots and 1 IR spot. And I'm kind of crushing that league, but it's like I have to make really tough decisions every week. And I've been considering dropping George Pickens. But then you look at his schedule at Las Vegas, bad matchup in week 7 against the Jets, not great matchup against the Giants, but then a bye week, right? I don't know why that was like my lead in here. After the bye week, Washington, Baltimore, Cleveland, Cincy, Cleveland, Philly, Baltimore. That stretch is phenomenal. Now, any of these defenses can improve between now and then, and it is a bad matchup in week 17 in the fantasy championship against Kansas City. But I think Pickens is going to have a little stretch here that could be pretty good. And I mean, he still has double digits in 3 out of 5 games on the season. So he's definitely frustrating. But if you're thinking about moving on from Pickens, I don't think you should. And it is a good matchup this week, but I don't know. I'm a little grossed out by the Steelers offense right now. They very much disappointed me last week. It's a good matchup this week, though. So they'll probably bounce back. They are on the road, but I'm going B-Tom. Also have Chargers. Sounds like they're banged up. Tampa, Green Bay, Colts, Falcons, or just keep the Chargers. Well, I still think the Chargers are a good floor play, but I haven't really viewed them as anything more than a floor play. I don't think we can just start defenses against Bo Nix anymore and expect that to be a winning formula. And they are on the road. I go Green Bay. I know Green Bay gets the Cardinals here and Kyler Murray, all that stuff. Marvin Harrison Jr. There's good players here. James Conner. Kyler's 2 interceptions in his last 3 games. Hasn't thrown for more than 207 passing yards in his last 3 games, 195 or less in 2 of the last 3 games. Shout out Trey McBride. I didn't mean to leave him off the good players list for the Cardinals. But yeah, it's still a good spot for the Packers at home here. They're going to give up points and yards. That's what they've been doing, but they're finding ways to turn the football over. So I just go Green Bay. They are the defense 2. in fantasy scoring right now. So, yeah, give me Green Bay. I'm not trusting Tampa. I know Tampa, Spencer Rattler. I get it. I'm not trusting Tampa. Like when I put out the must start video early in the week, there's some opportunities this week, and somebody's probably going to show up. We got this hadn't been announced when I made the video, but we got Spencer Rattler versus the Bucks. The Bucks defense sucks. I mean, they've been really friendly in terms of fantasy scoring. We have the Panthers. The Falcons are visiting the Panthers. The Falcons defense has been awful. I'm not going to throw them out there against the Panthers when they've done nothing so far on the season, essentially. Bengals, Giants. We can't trust the Bengals, and Danny Dimes hasn't even been that bad lately. The Colts. People are starting the Colts against Will Levis. I get it. The Colts defense is essentially non-existent. They just got shredded by Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. Like, I am not like, don't get me wrong. One of those defenses will probably likely show up this week. And I talked about the Texans Patriots in the video. This was before Drake May got announced as a starter, but like, I don't trust the Texans defense. They've been awful. And especially from a fan. I mean, I'm talking from a fantasy scoring, you know, format here. Sorry, trying to use words, but Houston's a defense 24. Like they have 6 points in their last 3 games in total in fantasy scoring. I am just not a fan of starting bad defenses, especially when half of these defenses are on the road, just because they have this perceived matchup, which, don't get me wrong, one of them will show up at least. But I'm not going to take the risk when there's a team like Green Bay who's the defense 2 or 3, whatever they are, in fantasy scoring. All right, that's my rant. Chef, we got McLeod, Lazard, or Michael Wilson. I think Lazard's the safest player here. It is a bad matchup, but the Bills are going to have to put that defensive pressure on Garrett Wilson and Devontae Adams. Kidding, just on Garrett Wilson. But yeah, I just go Lazard. He's safe. I've talked about Lazard throughout the week a little bit, and at least in one of the videos. And Lazard is the wide receiver 20 in fantasy football right now. Okay. So that should give you some context. Brandon Ayuk is the wide receiver 36. I'm trying to look at Waddle's the wide receiver 60. Pittman's the wide receiver 49. So there's a couple names. Pickens, the wide receiver 56. Cooper, the wide receiver 39. Higgins, the wide receiver 46. Scary Terry's wide receiver 25. Allen Lazard has more fantasy points than all of those players. So it's not very exciting with Allen Lazard, and it is a bad matchup. So if you want a little bit more upside, Michael Wilson and Ray have better matchups. But yeah, I just go Lazard. In Savvy, we got Irving, Tank Dell, or Brian Thomas Jr. Yeah, I mean, I'm just starting Brian Thomas Jr. If he has a bad week, then I don't care. I'm starting him. You do have good options there if you like someone else. What's up, Olrak? Big D, should I start Deontay, Tolbert, Downs, or Darius Slayton? I mean, there's an argument for any of these guys, but I'm going to go Jalen Tolbert against the Detroit Lions. We haven't heard his name tonight yet. But yeah, I like Jalen Tolbert a lot this week. Talked about him throughout the week. In the last 2 videos for the week, I think I talk about him again tomorrow. 10 targets, 7 receptions, 87 receiving yards, a tutty, 21.7 fantasy points. The Lions are 27th against opposing wide receivers. And don't forget, they got to apply their defensive pressure to Amon-Ra St. Brown. So good options here. I like Slayton. I like Downs. Give me Jalen Tolbert. Laporta hasn't given me good numbers. Just picked up Schultz. Who do I start? I mean, Schultz hasn't really been any better than Laporta, So if we look at matchups, Patriots are 19th against the position, and the Cowboys are 15th. Like, it's not that far apart. I mean, personally, I'm starting Laporta still. What's he had? 8.5, 5.3, 5.6, 9.3. I mean, he is the tight end 25. He's missed a week. Schultz is a tight end 35, but I get that Nico's out. I'm starting Laporta, but it's a toss-up. I mean, that's the thing with so many tight ends right now. It's just a true toss-up. Ingram's out there. I mean, I'd probably just go Laporta personally. Tommy, something random. I outbidded you and a few others in our Dynasty League for Juju and Ray McLeod. How dare you? Did I bet on Juju? I feel like I forgot. I seriously think I forgot to put in waivers for Juju. Maybe I hit it on that one though. Hi, Andrea. How are you? Olrak, start 2 wide receivers and 1 flex. McLaurin, Cooper, Mooney, Pittman if he plays, Wicks, Kirk, Leggett, ETN. I mean, good options here. I'm starting McLaurin against the Ravens secondary that I think is giving up the 29th most points to wide receivers. I'm starting Cooper. This is the last week I'm going to talk about Amari Cooper as a start. This is the worst secondary in terms of fantasy points allowed to wide receivers. I am starting Cooper. I'm just doing it, okay? And I'm starting Mooney. I really like Mooney against the Panthers, but you got options here, that's for sure. But yeah, Scary Terry, Cooper, Mooney, those are my guys. Good matchups, take them. TS, what's up? Start 1 wide receiver and a flex. Scary Terry, Evans, Devonta. There's my boy. Randall Robinson, Connor Pollard. I mean, this is going to be close. You got a lot of good options, a lot of guys that could outscore each other. I am once again starting Scary Terry, and then I'm flexing Devonta Smith. If I own AJ Brown or Devonta Smith, they are in my lineups this week. No doubt about it. Mike Evans. Been waiting for this name to come up. I'm a little worried about Mike Evans. Okay. I don't think I feel good about Mike Evans this week. So we look at Mike Evans. Let's cover this ad with my Underdog ad. There we go. All right, here Mike Evans. This is a little confusing because the targets are on the right side. So against the Saints, 4 targets, 3 receptions. 3 targets, 3 receptions. Those are his 2 games last year. No more than 70 receiving yards. The year before, 4 targets, 4 receptions, 4 targets, 3 receptions, no more than 61 receiving yards. Go back to 2021, 1 target, 1 reception. That was the game where, like, he got ejected, and then someone got hurt, and then like looked like the Bucks. This was a year after they won the Super Bowl. They're just falling apart. Brady was awful in that game. The Bucks lost. I think an offensive lineman got hurt. Anyways, the game before that, 4 targets, 2 receptions, a tutty. But still, what is that, like less than 10 points? 2021, 6 targets, 4 receptions, 64 receiving yards. Earlier game in that year, 4 targets, 1 reception for a touchdown. 2 yards per catch. So, yeah, it's not very good. I mean, this 2019, the later game 2019 might be his best start in memory. 8 targets, 4 receptions, 69 receiving yards. In the game before that year, 3 targets, 0 receptions. So I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's all Marshawn Lattimore. I don't know exactly what it is here, but Mike Evans against the Saints, and the Bucks are on the road. He's just not been good. So this is his entire career. He averages 3.2 catches, 50 receiving yards, and 0.3 tutties. So he's got 5 touchdowns in his career, 960 receiving yards against the Saints. So I think if I own Mike Evans, I'm staying away this week. You know, I didn't call him a sit against Pat Surtain, and that was a mistake. So I'm trying to look closer at some of these things. And I mean, sure, it's Mike Evans, but like, yeah, I just don't feel so good about my boy Mike this weekend. So give me Scary Terry. Give me Devonta Smith. All right. Tyler at the bottom of the chat. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to get through all the chat as quick as possible here. Hurts or Love? Gibson or Tyrone Tracy? I like Tyrone Tracy over Gibson. Better matchup. Has looked better overall with the opportunities that he's gotten in the, I know it's short volume here or short sample size, but I like Tyrone Tracy. Hurts and Love is close. I don't think I'm benching Jalen Hurts. It's not a great matchup. The Browns have somehow allowed the 9th fewest fantasy points to the position. That's a home game, right? Why can't I find... Oh, yeah, it's a home game. Okay. On the other hand, it's a pretty dang good matchup for Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love is a safer play. I probably go Jordan Love, but Hurts gets Smith back. He gets AJ Brown back. They're coming out of the bye. Just don't be surprised if Hurts balls out, and if you think that he can, and he might, then you can go Hurts. But Love is a good option if you just kind of want to go with a safe play. Thank you for the super chat, Tyler. If you need me to elaborate more, let me know. Breaking news, the Lions and running back David Montgomery have agreed on a 2-year, $18.25 million extension. I do really like David Montgomery this weekend. Who's benching David Montgomery? He's in the must-start video, so I've already talked about this. But yeah, the Cowboys still suck against the run, even though they've been better in the past 2 weeks. Monty's a great start if you own him. Shout out to Monty. Well-deserved extension. Andrea, need one. Brian Thomas Jr., Chase Brown, Slayton. I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr. personally, regardless of scoring format. I'm firing up Brian Thomas Jr. Dalton Schultz or Kate Otten. It's a coin flip here, Andrea. It's a coin flip. Where did the Saints come in against tight ends? Well, they're not very good. It's one of these guys scores a touchdown and the other one doesn't. Then you're looking at a better stat line. The volume is going to be key here as well. The Patriots are 19th against position. The Saints are 22nd. I think the Texans might have a better offensive day. So maybe I lean the Dalton Schultz, but yeah, it's a toss-up. What's up, Ghost Hunter? Good to see you. Oh gosh, I'm behind in the chat. Don't forget, guys, you can send a super chat if you want your question answered right away. I will get through everything here. Tyler, so Tyrone Tracy over Gibson? Yes. I would play Tyrone over Gibson. It's a better matchup. Tracy has looked better in the small sample size that we have. But Bengals 21st against the position. Texans are 10th against the position. And I worry with Drake May at quarterback. So, yeah, I go Tyrone Tracy personally. Guys, do me a favor. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Do it. Or else you will lose this week. I didn't put a poll up. I'm going to do that in a second. Shelton, better defense for week 6. Chargers, Bucks, Colts, Lions. I would just go with the Chargers. There's a little bit of upside with the Bucks against Spencer Rattler. The Bucks have also been really bad against quarterbacks and wide receivers all year long. The Colts defense just sucks. You can start the Colts defense if you want, but they suck. I just don't trust awful defenses, and you always see this, you have this random week where a bad defense pops off, and the Colts had 11 points in week 3 and 10 in week 4. They're the defense 17, but they are a very bad defense at the same time. I don't trust them if you want to roll with them or the Bucks for that perceived upside. I don't hate it, but I'd rather just start the Chargers. Shy Guy, 5-0. Pick one for the flex. Ridley, Cook, Rome, Leggett, or Coleman. I think Rome Odunze has some nice sneaky upside against the Jaguars. So I'd probably go Rome Odunze. But is that James Cook? Yeah, I'd probably just start James Cook. He should be in your lineup if you own him. I mean, I know he's banged up. He's going to play. Hard to bench James Cook, though. It's not a great matchup against the Jets. And, Shakir's out. Josh Allen is concussed and has a broken leg or whatever. And has no chest, whatever happened. But I probably just start James Cook. I think Rome Odunze a little sneaky. I think Ridley could be sneaky against the Colts defense that we just talked about. But yeah, I don't think I'm benching James Cook, especially if I'm 5-0. Gobb, Laporta, Kraft, Hawkinson rest of the season. I think Laporta will be better, but recency bias, he's going to have us lean towards Kraft here. And what are we supposed to do with Hawkinson? I mean, we haven't seen him play this year, so hard to kind of evaluate it here. But the Vikings have been great. Their passing attack has been great. Kevin O'Connell runs a great system. Darnold has been great. If you have just Kraft and Hawkinson, I think you're good. If you're trying to trade Laporta, it's hard to, if you want to sell Kraft high, Kraft will come back to earth at some point. He has 3 touchdowns in the last 2 games. What do those starts look like if he doesn't score a touchdown, I think Kraft is still very good. But we have to expect a lower ceiling at some point. So if you want to sell Kraft high, you can. If you want to sell Laporta low, you can, if that's your question. Then flex Irving or Dell. Full PPR, I'll flex Dell. I think in general, I like Dell more, but I do like Irving, and he just has a tough matchup. Cap for life, ladies and gentlemen. 14-team PPR league flex spot. Gibson, Mitchell, Schultz, Leggett, Carolina. Thoughts on Vidal? Vidal's a good stash, but he's nothing more than a stash. Mustache. He's a mustache player. 80 Mitchell, Schultz. That's 14-teamer. I go Gibson in this situation. Yeah. Take the volume, go Gibson. Don't flex a tight end over a wide receiver running back. Mitchell was okay last week, but that was against the Jaguars. How do you say Jaguars? There's someone who keeps commenting on all my videos. It doesn't like the way I say Jaguars. Jaguars. I go Gibson here. Going back to the point, Pittman's going to play. Downs looks like he's going to play. Anthony Richardson might play. I'm not really in on Mitchell this week. Titans are going with the fewest fantasy points of wide receivers. Leggett, what are we getting out of Leggett lately? I don't know. Give me Gibby. Yeah, Vidal just a stash though. What are we doing with Devontae? I'm just holding on to Devontae. If you can buy Devontae, I don't mind buying him. Should land with a team with a quarterback that can actually throw him the football. But yeah, I think the problem with selling Adams right now is you're kind of selling him at a lower volume. It just doesn't feel like you're getting what you should be potentially getting out of Adams right now. His perceived value is just low. When really, I think the argument is that it should be a little bit higher. But I get it. We also don't know when he's going to play. So I guess that's part of the issue too. I would just hold Adams. Obviously you can't start him because he is not playing due to his hamstring injury. But yeah, I just hold him. Tank Dell or George Pickens? That's a good question. I think the floor lies with Pickens against the Raiders. But Tank Dell is fine. I'm going to make that the poll question because I don't have a poll question up. Who you starting in week 6? Hit the like. Do it, guys. Or you will lose every week for the rest of the season. Just kidding. I hope that doesn't happen. We got. Sorry, my computer's being slow. I hope I'm not lagging for you guys. All right. Oh my gosh, I can't type. All right, so the Patriots are 23rd against wide receivers, I think. Sorry, I'm way off. They're 14th. They are 23rd against running backs. And on the other hand, wow, Raiders got to be down the list, right? Raiders have to be down the list. They're only 17th. I thought they had been way worse than that. That's kind of a good question then for the poll. Let's get it out there. Let me know if I'm not laggy, am I, guys? Okay. Pickens for a floor, Tank Dell for upside. That's where I'm at. Pickens is the floor play. Dell gives you some upside here. Down bad at quarterback this week. What's up, Cats? With Mahomes on bye, roll with T-Law, Dalton, or Levis, Watson. Man, you are down bad this week. I think I go T-Law. Yeah, I think I gotta go T-Law here. I mean, I don't really like T-Law against the Bears. I don't think he's going to be in any way, shape, or form as streamable as he was last week. Oh, goodness gracious. You are down bad. The Bears are giving up the fewest fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Of course. I don't trust Dalton. Dalton's okay. Like, I think they're going to be behind and need to throw against the Falcons. They're 17th against quarterbacks. I'm not starting Will Levis, but I do believe he's got the best matchup. I'm not starting Will Levis. I feel like you would start Will Levis. I feel like you have to start T-Law. I mean, that's your boy. Levis has 8.6, 12.4, 15.6, 0.5. Those are his fantasy stat lines. I can't. He has the best matchup. I can't trust him, Cats. Can't do it. Dalton, 24.5, 16.7, 4.7. I mean, come on. What is that crap? Watson is 12, 15, 16, 12, or 13 and 8. I mean, I'm going to go T-Law, and I'm going to hope that defense goes out the window in that matchup. I hate that. Who are you leaning towards, Cats? Go for what's up, bro? Let's grab those dubs. Drop a like. Thank you. Full PPR, Flex, Chuba, Dell, Deontay. I mean, I'm probably just starting Chuba here. He's been so good. I don't really see how we can bench him, but I think that Dell and full PPR is definitely startable here. But yeah, I think I just roll with Chuba. It isn't a great matchup against the Falcons. They're 4th against running backs. So if you want to go Dell, that's okay. But I go Chuba for a floor, Dell for upside. I think Deontay is just benched right now. Hurts or Daniels? I'm going Daniels. Just give me Jaden Daniels. Shiesty got 3 spots and 4 wide receivers. Who should I start? Evans, J-Mo, Pickens, Shaheed. I think I'm benching Evans here. We just broke down. You can rewind in the stream if you need to. I just broke down Mike Evans' career against the Saints. I'm not going to do it every time Mike Evans comes up tonight, but that would be kind of funny. So if you go back in the stream like 17 minutes ago, 18 minutes ago, I did that. I will say this though. Beginning of the week when Spencer Rattler was announced the starter, I started to get like, I don't know if I can start Shaheed. I don't know if I can start Chris Olave. What are we going to do? But I think that we can start Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. I think they have lower ceilings, but the Bucs are 23rd against opposing wide receivers on the season. And then when it comes to the quarterback position, they're 31st. So I think that we can start Olave and or Shaheed. So if you want to risk Mike Evans here, it's still Mike Evans. You can still do Mike Evans things, but I definitely like Godwin much better in that matchup. So I go J-Mo, Pickens, and Shaheed. Andrea, we got Wicks, Dell, Najee, Bucky, Irving, and PPR. In PPR, I'll go Tank Dell here. I'll risk it for the biscuit with Dell. I do think that Dontayvion Wicks, I don't think it's like over for him. And it is a good matchup for him. I guarantee you, because everyone is benching Wicks because of last week, that I think Wicks, I mean, this isn't the only reason why, but I think that Wicks actually might have a pretty good game. But yeah, I'll go Tank Dell. So I said Mike Evans this week. I am personally. Yeah. Supersize, what's up? Should I pick up Raheem Mostert and drop Devin Singletary? No, I'd rather own Devin Singletary, I think. I mean, A-Chain might be back next week. I don't like the Dolphins backfield. I don't. I am trying to avoid that backfield. Should I risk playing Ingram or play more safe with Komet? I'd rather play Komet. The Jaguars have a team name that apparently I cannot pronounce. They're 18th against tight ends. I just go Komet. The Bears are first, I think. 8th. Sorry. They're first against quarterbacks. What's up, Smokey? TD Parlay. Bucky, Bijan, Brown, Diggs, and McBride. Does McBride have a touchdown on the season? Yeah, he does not. I'm not risking McBride. I don't really feel good about tight ends in the touchdown parlay. It is a good matchup for him, though. Bijan, AJ Brown, and Diggs I like. Bucky's a little risky bisky for me. George, Javonte Gibson, Romadunze, and Ridley. What's up, George? Adunze and Ridley have the matchups. Javonte and Gibson should get you more of a floor, but I think I go Rome and Ridley. I take the matchups here. Brent with the super chat. Thank you, Brent. 12 man, happy PR, 3 wide receiver, and a flex. I'm 4-1. Let's go. Godwin, Chase, B. Tom, Higgins, Adams, Gibbs, Rico, Hunt, Brooks. Got offered Tyreek Hill, JT, and Dobbins. Interesting. For Godwin, Higgins, Adams. I mean, it's definitely not a bad trade. But Tyreek Hill's got a huge question mark around him, Brent. JT's a little dinged up. And Dobbins is fine, but I don't like the problem with Dobbins, who I do really like, don't get me wrong. But the problem with Dobbins is like we go back to weeks 1 and 2, you had two of the worst run defenses in the league between the Raiders and literally the worst run defense in the league with the Panthers. So I just don't know. I mean, the Raiders are 25th against running backs in fantasy, and the Panthers are 32nd last. So when are we going to see another matchup like that? Denver, Arizona, New Orleans, Cleveland. Like these are all decent or good run defenses. I think Arizona might be maybe a little bit. Yeah, Arizona sucks, but other than that, so we get Arizona, we get Tennessee week 10 good, Cincy week 11 good, but then Baltimore, Atlanta, Kansas City bad. Tampa Bay, Denver, New England is all kind of meh. Tampa Bay is okay. So, I like Dobbins, but I just don't know if he's more than a floor play for I don't think we're going to get back to those 20 plus point games for majority of the season. So, I don't think I'd do this trade, even in half PPR. Like, I think Gibbs, Rico Dowdle looks really good. Kareem Hunt looks really good. I think you kind of take the strength of your team as having wide receiver depth. You got Godwin, Chase, B. Tom, Higgins, and then Adams chilling. You're able to start Godwin, Chase, and Brian Thomas Jr. every week. And then you flex T. Higgins. Then you play Gibbs with whichever two of those running backs has the better matchup. Like your team is fine and you're 4-1. Like you're winning games, So I don't think you need to make the change here. And I don't know that I like this trade. Godwin's been super solid all season long. I know the ceiling's been a little bit lower as of late, but I prefer Godwin over just about anyone here. He's still the wide receiver 8, and Higgins is coming along. And I think Adams could be in a really good position sooner rather than later. So I would not do this trade personally. Maybe if you were like 1-4, but even then, I don't know that I like the trade for you. Half PPR, I do generally gravitate towards the running back position, but yeah, I don't think so here. I don't do the trade if I'm you, Brent. Thank you for the super chat, Brent. Let me know if you need anything else. X, I started Ayuk for my flex. I am getting tired of Brandon Ayuk. Brandon Ayuk, if you're watching, we're getting tired of you here at the catch. Who should I start for my wide receivers now? Evans, Devonta, J-Mo, B-Tom. Wow. You got some options. How many wide receivers can you start? I'm starting Devonta Smith, and I'm starting Brian Thomas Jr. Those are priority starts. I'll sit Mike Evans against the Saints. J-Mo, if you need an additional flex, I prefer him over Evans this week, but Devonta and B-Tom. Tommy, I want Breece Hall. Giving Debo for Hall would leave Evans, wide receiver 1, then Tolbert, Juju, Wicks. You'd have Kyron, A-Chain, Hall, and Mason. Bro, didn't you start this league with like Kyron, Jacobs, A-Chain, Mason? I'm still not doing this trade. I'm still keeping Debo if I'm you. I think you can get by with Tolbert, Juju, and Wicks, but Evans also has some volatility. I know Debo's volatility, but yeah, I just think it leaves you too thin. Like you're already in a position where you can start. I know Mason is a little worrisome right now with CMC coming back potentially, and then he has the shoulder injury, but I feel like you're going to do the trade anyways, but I would not do the trade. Should I start the Colts or Chargers? I would start the Chargers personally. I don't trust the Colts. Yeah, boy, what's up? Full PPR, Hopkins, Leggett, or QJ? Come on. I'm not starting Quentin Johnston. Let me know in the chat. Do you think Pat Surtain will be on Quentin Johnston or Ladd McConkey? I feel like he's going to be on QJ. He doesn't really float. The rest of the Broncos secondary's been playing okay too. You could start QJ, but I think the floor is not great and the ceiling's low. I don't want to start Leggett. Just give me D-Hop against the Colts. Jeez, gross. I'm personally confident CMC isn't coming back anytime soon. Mason should be fine. Well, if that's the belief, then don't add another running back to your team. Keep it even. Tolbert's absolutely worth the pickup, 100%. And he's a good start this week against the Lions. Ship of Fools. I'm 4-1 at 12-team PPR, but my entire bench is full of bye week players. Hunt was a big brain pickup for a few weeks ago, but I need a startable asset now. Any good targets to trade Hunt for? 1v1? So you got to make a play for this week. I mean, that's tough. You just kind of got to go out there and look at a running back. Like, I think you get Tyrone Tracy for Kareem Hunt. And that, I don't know that I want to trade Hunt, but I get what you're saying. I mean, he has double digits in his first 2 starts with the Chiefs. So, like, maybe Zach Moss. People are kind of down on Zach Moss. Austin Eckler, who's getting the start this week. You know, McNichols will be involved. I think those are doable trades. Maybe Rico Dowdle. He's got a bad matchup, so maybe you can get Dowdle. But he's had 2 pretty good games, 19 points last week. But those are a couple names that come to mind. It's a tough sitch. Anthony Richardson or Fields. I mean, Fields does have a good matchup. I was really high on Fields last week, so naturally I'm low on him this week because he upset me last week. But yeah, I think Fields is probably the safer play. I probably just roll with Fields. Well, James Cook hurt, little practice time and playing on Monday. Should I play it safe and sit him for Bucky or roll the dice and sit James Cook? I mean, neither of these players have good matchups. If you're worried about James Cook, just go Bucky Irving. It is a better matchup for Bucky, but still not a great matchup. I lost Moody. I did too. I have one league where somebody's just hurt like every other day. I'm 0-5. I would go Siebert. Siebert's like my favorite kicker right now. 9 or more points in every matchup, double digits in 3 out of 4 starts. He's the kicker 7 in fantasy. The offense is great. They might get held a little bit this week against the Ravens. So, yeah, I go Siebert. All right, your boy, full PPR. Need one wide receiver and a flex. Who'd you pick? Kirk, Adunze, Doobie, Dowdle, Chase Brown. Bad matchup for Kirko. Floor is Kirk. Upside is Adunze. There's flex with, or there's risk with both players. I think I go Dowdle. I think I'll take the volume, but Chase Brown is okay too. I would try to flex one of these 2 running backs here, though. Should I risk sitting Cook for Gibby? I don't think I do. I think I still start Cook. Should I pick up Braylon Allen just in case? I mean, you could, of course, but I think Cook's going to play. But yeah, I mean, if he doesn't, then I think getting Braylon Allen now is smart as long as you don't have to drop anyone. But yeah, I think I still go Cook over Gibby. I mean, I think the Jets are 8th against running backs, but the Texans are 10th. So like it's not super far off here. Thoughts on Ayuk after another dud? I mean, yeah, I'm quite worried about those of us who own Brandon Ayuk. Quite worried about it. I talked him up going into week 5, like it happened, and then I mean, he gets Kansas City next week, bad matchup, gets Dallas the following week, not a great matchup, a bye week. And he's at Tampa Bay, a good matchup. He gets Seattle, which apparently he's going to suck against Seattle. At Green Bay, good matchup. Bills, bad matchup. Chicago, bad matchup. Rams, good matchup. Miami, okay matchup. Detroit, good matchup. Like, he's just kind of boomer bust. And most of the season, he's been a bust. He hasn't scored a single touchdown on the season. 12 targets in week 5. Now, Ayuk was, if you were watching the game, like Ayuk was open. I don't think Purdy likes throwing to Ayuk anymore. I think maybe he's holding a grudge because of the offseason. I don't know. And he was like, going back to the Jawan Jennings game, like there were plays where Ayuk was like standing alone. Like I talked about that after week 3, but Kittle is like just, I mean, Kittle's always involved, but Kittle is very involved this year. I mean, there was one of the like second touchdown Kittle scored. There was like 3 defenders on Kittle, and like literally once again, like 0 defenders on Ayuk. Purdy throws to Kittle, who makes the play. And like Debo is like, volatile but always involved. Like the run game's there. The difference is Debo can have 3 catches and go for 102 receiving yards and a touchdown like he did this past week. And Ayuk can have 2 or 3 catches and get you 6 or less fantasy points. Like he's just not quite doing what he was doing last year, where he was making big plays. The targets that he was getting were resulting in big plays. He was scoring touchdowns. Even if most of his touchdowns came in the second half of the season. I'm pretty panicked on Ayuk. I am. Like, I'm not dropping him, but there does come this point in the season, especially as the fantasy playoffs are approaching, that I always talk about. Like, you got to start making these hard decisions. Like you got to actually start making them. Like if there's just a player who you're never starting, who's just on your bench, like last year, and this was a risky move that didn't pay off, but also didn't really matter. Christian Watson was a good example. Like I just got to the point where it's like, I am never starting Christian Watson. So I'm just dropping him. Somebody else can deal with that volatility. And as soon as I did that, don't get me wrong, this was like literally week 10. And then he had the 10-point game, the 20-point game, the 27-point game, but then he got injured and didn't play the rest of the year. So kind of in the middle there. But like, there comes this point in the season, and usually it's like, as we're making that push for the fantasy playoffs, it's like, if you have a player that you're just never starting, then they're a roster clogger, and there's other moves that are happening that you can be a part of. So, I don't think we're at that point yet, but we might get there with Ayuk. So the problem is, I think with Ayuk right now is he's going to sit on your bench. And it's not like I said, he doesn't have great matchups coming up here. So, or at least in the immediate future. So, I mean, frustrating. Kansas City, not a good matchup. Where does Dallas rank against wide receivers? I actually think they're not bad. They're worse than I thought. They're 24th. So I think we're only starting Ayuk right now against soft matchups. So that's worrisome. All right. Miguel, start 1 in the flex. Jacobs, Pollard, Scary Terry. I'm starting Scary Terry. He's a must-start player for me this week. I do like Pollard. I do like Jacobs. I think they'll both be solid. I'm going to start Terry McLaurin in a competitive matchup. Should be points. I do have a small suspicion that we're going to see some defense in this game, but I'm going to go with McLaurin. The Ravens have been really bad against opposing wide receivers. Sammy 2, need to flex. Rico, Brown, True Tucker. If Myers is out, Myers is probably not going to play. But yeah, I'm not going to start Trey Tucker as a wide receiver 1. I'm just not. Give me Rico and Chase Brown. Mr. Sarcastic, I'm just glad that we could display your trade. Yeah, Rashee Rice is safe to drop. They've already come out and said he's not going to play this year. Yeah. Tommy, MH, Tolbert, Wicks, Rome, Chase Brown. I would start Marvin Harrison Jr. and Tolbert. I do really like Tolbert this week. Now that Brian Robinson is out for the week, who do I start? Kamara, Chuba, Pollard, Kamara, and Chuba. Different team. Pick one. Tolbert, Rome, Downs. I go Tolbert. Dylan, what's up, Bursky? All right, one quarterback, one flex, a tight end. I'm going to go Caleb over Baker. That's how bad the Jaguars are. Kirk or Spears, I mean, I think I still go Christian Kirk. But he could also suck. I mean, the Bears have been good against wide receivers. Sorry. Okay, the Colts are 24th against running backs. It's not bad. I just don't know that I trust Spears. If you want to go Spears, okay, but I think I prefer Kirk still. Andrews likely. I mean, that's the question of the year. I think I go Andrews, a little bit safer. I mean, likely had 3 catches last week. 2 of them just happened to be touchdowns. 2 flex and a running back. Pierce, Wicks, Bateman. Ooh, Ford or Bigsby. I just go Bigsby. Just give me Tank and ETN, whatever. Good matchup against the Bears. I'm not trusting Ford. Pierce, Wicks, Bateman. I think. I think I go Wicks and Bateman. I mean, you could easily go Pierce, but the Titans are giving up the fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. Pittman's is playing. Downs is playing. Oh, he's so volatile. The volume is so low too. Bateman's got a good matchup. He was in the sneaky starts video. I don't think it's over for Wicks, and he's got a pretty good matchup this week against the Cardinals, and I'm expecting some points in that game. So that one's close. Who are you leaning towards, Dylan? Mike, should I drop Watson for Tracy? Yes, I would definitely try to pick up Tracy. Which Christian Watson? Oh, yeah, I'd rather have Tracy. Currently have Atlanta's defense in the Minnesota on bye. Keep Atlanta or one of my options on Discord. Wow, you got nothing. You got nothing. I would just start Atlanta. Dang, are people just rostering like 2 or 3 defenses? Oh wait, can you pick up Buffalo? I get Buffalo. I'll go Buffalo. I know they're a waiver option. You can't pick them up right now, but yeah, I'd try to get Buffalo. If you can't get Buffalo, then sure, just go Atlanta. Chiefs available. I know they're not playable, and you already have the Vikings for next week. But I mean, if you had the Chiefs and the Vikings, if you're able to somehow stash the Chiefs too, which I don't think you can, but maybe like whatever defense you play this week, drop them for the Chiefs, because if you can just roster the Vikings and the Chiefs, that's a big advantage. Start one flex, one ETN, Chad Brown, Antonio Gibson, ETN, and Chase Brown. Did you see Kyler Murray got signed a contract with Call of Duty? I did see that. Good for him. Do any of you guys still play Call of Duty? Is Warzone still a thing? Kayla, my guy, Breece Hall, Cooper, or Shakir in full PPR. I mean, I'm starting Breece Hall this week against the Bills, giving up the second most fantasy points to the wide receiver position. Just give me Breece Hall, but I like Cooper this week. I don't think Shakir is going to play. He might be questionable. But like I've already discounted Shakir as a sit. He's questionable. He might play. Give me Breece Hall. Can you rank my team? I got Caleb, Bucky, Jacobs, Ayuk, DJ Moore, Komet, Slayton, J-Mo, McLaughlin, and the Bears. I mean, this team's not bad, but Are you in a deeper league? This looks like a little bit of a deeper league. I mean, I like Caleb this week. Bucky's startable this week. Jacob's good. Ayuk, we just talked about how much we're kind of worried about him. DJ Moore, I like. Komet, fine. You got a lot of the Bears. The Bears have a bad week. You're in a bad spot. I do like J-Mo and Slayton's startable for now, but the Neighbors comes back. I don't know if that's going to be the case. McLaughlin and the Bears defense good. Are you a Bears fan? He's fine, but it's kind of missing. It kind of depends. Like, is this a 12-team format? I mean, you could have had, it's a 10-team format. I mean, for a 10-team, this is kind of weak. I'm not going to lie to you. But also, like, what if you drafted, Rashee Rice and Isaiah Pacheco and Nico Collins and the 12 other starters who got hurt this year. So if that's why, then I totally get that. But yeah, I would expect a little bit more upside from a 10-team format. Do you only have 2 bench spots? You got to have more players on this team, right? Or are they just injured players? I mean, yeah, for a 10-team format, you need a little bit more upside on a week-to-week basis, So, Caleb, good. The good news is the Bears play the Jaguars this week, who are almost bottom 10 against every single position, fantasy scoring wise. So, that's the good news. But yeah, for a 10-teamer, I expect a little bit more here. Oh, sorry. My bad, broski. So you got Cousins, I'm assuming Brian Robinson, Kirk, Shakir, and Shaheed. Okay. Oh, so I'm sorry. Those were your 2 flexes. Okay. My bad. Everything starts to become like a giant blur as I have been streaming for an hour and 20 minutes, which is really not that long. Sometimes I miss some stuff, but my bad, bro. Yeah, this team's not as bad as I initially thought. I'm sorry. This team's not bad. I'm assuming that's Brian Robinson and not Bijan. If it is Bijan Robinson, make sure you guys, Bijan Robinson and Breece Hall need to be in starting lineups this week, going up against the 2 teams allowing the most fantasy points to running backs. But I'm assuming this is it's Brian Robinson. I would start Caleb over Kirk. I know a lot of people want to start Kirko this week, and I think he's a solid start. But I also worry that the Falcons are going to run the football a lot, get ahead, and not need to throw the football as often. It's a good matchup for Kirko and Mooney and London and even Pitts and Ray McLeod. And I like all those guys. But I think if you have an option like Caleb Williams going up against the Jaguars, I would take that. So, yeah, Shakir banged up, Kirk a bad matchup. Shaheed, I think, is still startable, but I like who you have in over Shaheed. So yeah, this team's not as bad as I thought, man. This team's like a good old 7.5, 8. Sucks Ayuk gave you a dud, but yeah, this is who I would start. Team's not as bad as I thought. Should I drop Ertz and pick up Ingram? I like Ertz more this week. Ingram has a worse matchup. Ertz has a better matchup. I know Ertz was not great last week, and Ertz is really just a floor play until he finds the end zone, which I don't know if he's going to, the way this team operates. But Ertz had 8 targets last week, I believe. It's a good matchup against the Ravens, so I think I'd start Ertz. Ingram you could pick up for sure, but I don't know that I'd drop Ertz for Ingram unless you're starting someone over Ertz already. D-Wave, what's up? Leggett or Braylon Allen? I mean, I don't trust Leggett right now. I just don't. What is that matchup? The Falcons are 16th. Like, it's not awful. I just don't trust the Panthers passing attack. He had 1.8 points last week, so I just don't. I don't trust it. I'll go Braylon Allen. I would only flex Braylon Allen based off of the matchup. Like, I'm not really in this pool of people who believes you can start Braylon Allen. Like, I don't believe that standalone value is guaranteed. But this week, it's a good enough matchup that you can start him. Chunk, thank you for joining the Catch fam. Enjoy your membership. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm not going to lie to you guys. If you guys become a member of the channel, all it is supporting the channel. You do get the emojis in the chat, and your name is displayed on the page when people view the channel, but I'm too small of a channel to really have any true perks for channel members. So thank you for supporting the channel. PPR for Chunk, Lad, Rico, or Watson if he plays. I don't trust Christian Watson here if he plays. Benchable, rosterable player. He can be on your roster, but on the bench. I don't like Lad McConkey against the Broncos. I'm trying to avoid that matchup overall if I can. I think we're going to get defense out of that matchup. I will go Rico Dowdle. I think Rico Dowdle is in that area of like, I know we've only gotten 2 games, but it is a bad matchup against the Lions, but I think he's in that area where the volume's good enough, the usage is good enough. It means they're not using Zeke. Zeke is crusty dusty over there in Dallas. So, yeah, I think I go with Rico. Let me know if you need anything else, Junk. I think I should pick up Trey Tucker, play him instead of Evans. Should I move Sutton out of flex and put Bigsby as my flex? Okay, I think Evans is benchable this week. I would not start Trey Tucker over Evans, though. I think Sutton is still playable. Sutton's probably the one player in that matchup that I'm like, okay. And I think Dobbins probably in that area too. I'm like, okay, you can still start them, but you just got to understand, like, I mean, the Chargers are giving up the 5th fewest fantasy points to wide receivers. I just hate this matchup. I think Tank Bigsby is, I like Tank Bigsby out of these options. Good matchup against the Bears. I'm not going to play Tucker over Evans. I am worried about Evans. I'm worried about Sutton. The only player here who gets a green light for me is Bigsby. This coffee's been sitting next to me for like an hour now. It doesn't taste as good as when I first bought it. All right, yeah, we went over the Monty extension earlier. John Curtis, what's going on? Wicks, Kraft, Irving, Slayton. Need to. I mean, I do like Kraft, but I very rarely am going to flex a tight end or start a tight end over a running back or wide receiver. Especially with the tight end play that we've gotten on the year. But I think Kraft is a tight end 2, the tight end 3. He's a tight end 2. Only Kittle's in front of him. I mean, Kraft may be in that discussion, maybe. But I think that, see, the Cardinals are 17th against position. Like, not bad, not great. I think I would start Darius Slayton. The Bengals defense very bad, but we talked about this earlier on the stream. They're still 12th against wide receivers. I think I would start Slayton. The second one's hard. Irving, not a great matchup. Kraft's a tight end. Wicks, risky, good matchup. I think I go Bucky, Irving, and Slayton. But there's an argument for just about everyone here. Chase, thoughts on Theo Johnson? I mean, I like Theo Johnson. I liked him. I think if I recall, he was like my rookie tight end 2. Got some involvement last week. Is that going to keep up? Hard to say. 5 targets, 5 receptions, 48 receiving yards, 9.8 fantasy points. He has had a reception or no receptions in every other game on the season. Should be like a good red zone target in theory. Daniel Bellinger has 2 catches on the year. Then you got Chris Manhertz. What a cool name. Who has 0 catches, 0 targets on the year. But he's got the coolest name out of the 3. I mean, I'm not going to read into 9 points. Like, this is a dynasty move only, and that's it. He's probably not even available in your dynasty format. League, I should say. Armando, should I sit Cook and start Sermon, or keep Cook but drop Sermon and pick up Cook's backup, Ty Johnson, in case Cook sits? No, I would just start Cook or Sermon. Um I I still find it tough to bench Cook. And I mean, is Cook clear or is he questionable? He's questionable. I'd like Trey Sermon this week. I think I just roll Trey Sermon. The problem with Ty Johnson is you'll probably still get some touches to Ray Davis. The Titans are 13th against running backs. I just go Trey Sermon. It's a better matchup than the Jets. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight. It's been a great stream. Do me a favor and hit the like, please. Ghost 619. Who should I start at RB2? Etienne, Najee, Doodle, or Sermon? I'm going to go Dowdle, but I think Etienne is still very startable. If you want to go Etienne, I think he's fine. He's getting that, involvement in the passing game. It's a good matchup against the Bears. Sometimes we see, bad overall defenses in these overseas games. So there's that. I think Sermon is definitely startable. I'm off of Najee Harris. I'm off of Najee Harris. I don't think I'm going to be a fan of starting Najee ever again. I think once again, Dowdle is in that territory of like we can just start Dowdle. So I think I would roll with Dowdle, but I do want to say I don't think it's over for Travis Etienne by any stretch. So if you were to go Travis Etienne, good matchup. I am not against it. But yeah, I like the good old Doodle this week. Roll at Dallas. PPR start 1. Mixon, Tracy, Dell, or JMO. Whoo. Now that's a good question. That's a toughie. Because you got a lot of upside in JMO, a lot of upside in Tank Dell. Don't you just feel like the Cowboys, the Lions? I mean, this really should have been one of the primetime games. Bengals, Giants, like we should really be getting the Lions, Cowboys Sunday night. I think we're probably going to end with a banger there between the Lions and Cowboys on Sunday, though. Well, for the afternoon games. I think there's a lot of upside with JMO. Mixon's okay. Tracy's okay. I like both of them. Dell's okay, too. This is a good question. I think I take the upside of JMO, but you could go any direction here. That's chat. Let us know. I mean, that's a tough one. Who would you guys start here? Mixon against the Pats, Tracy against the Bengals, Tank Dell versus the Pats, or JMO versus the Cowboys. Is Tracy for a floor, JMO for upside? I feel like I'm a little bit low on Tank Dell. I'm not trying to be, but am I? Yeah, I think a lot of people are hoping that A-Rich sits and Flacco plays, but we shall see. Pete, what's up, bro? Hope you're having a great day. Pete's birthday was Monday, and he didn't tell any of us. Everyone wish Pete a happy birthday in the chat. Sermon or Tracy, it's close. It might come down to who does or does not score a tutty. But I like Tracy by a hair. Better matchup for Tracy. Zah, what's up? Slayton, Shaheed, or Ladd? I'll go Slayton, but I think Shaheed is still startable. I think McConkey is okay. I think that Pat Surtain will probably be on Quentin Johnston, but we'll see. Defense, Colts, Bucks, Falcons. We talked about all these defenses earlier. I don't trust any of these defenses. One of them I think will pop off, but like these are 3 bad defenses. I will go the Colts because they play Will Levis. But I don't trust him. Tommy, starting Wicks in my home league. Yeah, I still think Wicks is startable. Tone Bear, need to start two. Olave, Johnson, Mooney. I'll start Olave. It's still a good matchup for Spencer Rattler at the quarterback position and for Olave at the wide receiver position. And I'll start Mooney against the Panthers. Thank you, Tommy. I do say Jaguars just fine. I do. Start Eckler or Olave. This is probably close. I'll say Eckler, maybe a little bit safer, but the Ravens have been very good against the run. He'll probably get involvement in the passing game is what I think we all assume. But yeah, I'll start Olave against the Bucs. I'm not worried about the matchup. Now, maybe Spencer Rattler is that bad that it just doesn't matter, but if he's bad, then they're probably going to be in need of throwing the football. Maybe that's good for Olave. I would hope. I'll go Olave. Stand by my word. Paul, what's up, man? Full PPR, 2 running backs and a receiver. Mixon, Dobbins, Allen, Tracy, Mooney, Dell, Downs, Tolbert, Slayton. Yeah, certainly some options here. I will start Tyrone Tracy. Now I'll say I'm assuming Singletary is not going to play. So if he plays, then maybe we view this differently. But I'll go Tracy and Mixon. I will start Mooney in the flex. But Tolbert's really good. I see you guys at the bottom of the chat saying it's been announced that AR is going to start. No Flacco boy, man. Yeah, we'll circle back to that, but I don't think that's the end of the world for Downs or Pittman owners. But I like Slayton. I like Tolbert. I like Mooney the best, though. I like Mooney the best. And yeah, Singletary is out, right? That's what Torres says at the bottom. I think the last report said he was doubtful. Oh, no, he's out. Oh, we literally talked about that at the beginning of the chat. Sorry. I've had a lot of coffee today. Yeah, Mixon, Tracy, Mooney. I have Jane Cook and Bucky Irving. If you guys spell a player's name wrong, I will read it wrong. But it's okay. I'm not making fun of you. I like reading them wrong. Starting right now with Ford and Eckler on the bench. Should I swap anyone? You could swap Eckler for James Cook if you're worried about James Cook not playing. It's not a good matchup for James Cook if he does play, and he is questionable. So that's about it, though. I would start Bucky Irving over Ford and Eckler. And in theory, I do want to start James Cook over Ford or Eckler, but there is a chance that Cook does not play. Then what are you going to do? Can you pick up Ty Johnson? Can you pick up Ray Davis? Can you pick up Braylon Allen? If not, you might be RB2 lists. Start Kraft or Laporta. What's up, PJ Nasty? I think I would start Kraft, but it's close. Jeffrey, have PPR. Pick one for flex. Dell, Torbert, Spears, Bucky, Bigsby, Roshan, Warren. I mean, in half PPR, I'd probably go Bucky Irving or Tank Bigsby, but I think that Tolbert and Dell definitely make this close. So, man, that is like, I think Dell and Tolbert have plenty of touchdown upside here. So it's definitely close. And then, like, you look at Bigsby, Bucky, Roshan Johnson, Jalen Warren now active. Like, any of these guys can outscore each other. So, man, oh man, I think let's stick by my Tank Bigsby call, but it's very close here. I like Tolbert's matchup a lot, though. Who are you leaning towards, Jeffrey? Lex, plant some trees. Should I start Slayton over Kirk? I mean, Slayton does have the better matchup, so probably. But to drop QJ for Slayton, I mean, I think you can fight for QJ back on the waivers if you want, but you might also lose him. I don't think anyone's rushing to pick him up because, like, I'm in a couple of leagues, like good competitive leagues where, double flex leagues, and he's still out there because I don't think anyone wants to start him against Pat Surtain. And then let's see, they're at Arizona, they get the Saints, they're at Cleveland. I mean, QJ is very touchdown dependent. I just don't think he's going to score a touchdown this week, so I think it's fine. But yeah, I kind of lean Slayton over Kirk. I think you should hold Tommy. I do. Debo's going to get hurt next week, and Brees is going to have a 30-point game. Have too many receivers, says PJ. London, Debo, Nico, and Cup. You don't have too many receivers. With how many injuries there are, this is not too many receivers. Should I trade Cup and Brees for better running back? No, just keep them. Keep Cup on your bench. Brees is going to have a big game this week. You don't have too many receivers. No. What's up, Derek? Deontay or Higgins? Give me Higgins. Space Ghost, happy Saturday. Lil Bunny Hop, what's up? Randall or Chuba? Not playing James Cook this week. Reeks on the bye. This is close. I really like Randall Robinson this week. I really like Chuba, but they both kind of have iffy, like not great, not awful matchups. Give me Chuba. I think Chuba's the RB11. Just give me Chuba, but close. Good to see you, Bunny Hop. Space Ghost, Najee or Bigsby? I'm going Bigsby. Give me Bigsby against the Bears. Pick 3, Diggs, Reed, Wilson, Devonta, Brian Thomas. Ooh. Now that's a roster right there. I'm starting Devonta Smith against the Browns. I'm starting Diggs. Diggs gets sauce. I'm starting Jaden Reed. I'm starting Smith, Reed. The last one's really a toss-up. Bad matchup for Garrett Wilson. Bad matchup for Diggs. Bad matchup for Brian Thomas. I find it tough to bench Brian Thomas right now. Smith and Reed for sure. Trust your gut on the last one. Very close. Wicks or Tracy? Give me Tracy Tingley. Bigsby or Eckler? Eckler for a floor, Bigsby for upside. Start Bucky or Tracy. Mark, Eileen Tracy. Space Ghost, Diggs, Lamb, Tolbert, London, Allen. Lamb for sure, Tolbert, and London. But if you want to go Diggs over Tolbert, let's say, that's fine. I mean, Diggs is still a very startable player. Oh, wait, I was thinking, why was I thinking? Sorry, once again, my brain is broken. Hold on. Diggs is not on the Bills. My brain is broken. I never said that. Don't unsubscribe from my channel. I know football stuff. So going back to Space Ghost, I think I go Diggs, Reed, and Smith to avoid Garrett Wilson's matchup against the Bills and Brian Thomas Jr.'s matchup against the Bears. So, but I still like Brian Thomas this week. You just have options. Going back to Space Ghost's question, I go Diggs, Lamb, and London. Can't bench London. Can't bench Lamb. Give me Diggs. Who do I start? Downs or Wick? Probably Downs. But Wicks is fine. I think Wicks is fine. Romeo Dobbs was 1.5 points more projected than Wicks. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Dobbs, but I don't want to start him right now. Love to have you here, Caleb. Do you think Rattler can at least be good enough to lead Olave and Shaheed to productive weeks? My answer is yes. And it's really matchup dependent here. But the Bucks have been awful. I mean, they're giving up the 31st most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and they are giving up the 23rd most fantasy points to opposing wide receivers. So, yes, my answer is yes, but it's based on the matchup. It's not really based on Spencer Rattler. I think you answered this in a previous stream, but Denver versus Green Bay. I mean, I'll say Denver's the floor, Green Bay's the upside play, but both are very strong plays. All right, so we got this one earlier. Ayuk is a letdown for sure. Chonk, thanks for becoming a member once again. Kirk or Wicks? Kirk for a floor, Wicks for upside, but plenty of risk. Lucas, what I do with Rachaad White? I mean, what can you really do? You can't trade him. The perceived value is way too low. Way too low. What else can you do? You just hold him. You hold him and you hope Bucky Irving gets hurt, which we don't actually hope that, but I mean, we get to the point, it's week 10, week 11, you're never starting Rachaad White, his ceiling is still low, then you just drop him. But for now, you just got to hold him unless you're like 0-5 and there's other running backs like Trey Sermon and Tyrone Tracy that are becoming available that at least give you points now. Channel perk idea, every member gets a piece of Joe Dirt and Jared Goof merch. Yeah, I haven't done merch in a long time. It's just like kind of pointless for a channel my size, but if and when I do merch, I would like actually to do stuff like this where it's really based on the community and stuff that happens in-house and streams. This is not actually the craziest idea, Ghost Hunter. Spencer Goldberg at the bottom of the chat. Thank you for the super chat. Flex, Tyrone Tracy, Mooney, Dell, Bucky. Yeah, you definitely have options here, and certainly any of these guys could outscore the other. But I would start Darnell Mooney. I think Mooney's just a must start this week. I don't think he's going to have 30 fantasy points or whatever it was last week. But it's a great matchup against the Panthers. He made my must start video. I'm going to stick by it. I do really like Tyrone Tracy. I think Dell could be very good. I think Bucky is safe, but doesn't have a great matchup. I go Mooney. I'm sticking by the Mooney call for the week. So, yeah, take that matchup against the Panthers. He should be a solid start for you, Spence. Thank you for the super chat, Spencer. Let me know if you need anything else. X, someone's offering pits for Ayuk. Should I take it? Get Kincaid and Kraft. You get pits or you give pits? I would take Ayuk here if you have Kincaid and Kraft. If not, I would just hold Ayuk. Like you don't need pits on this team. So is this too crazy? Play Braylon Allen and Flex Gibson. I mean, it's not crazy. But in your situation, like I definitely am leaning towards overall benching Mike Evans, but like in your situation, I might start Mike Evans. But yeah, this is not crazy. Diego, Tracy, Higgins, Deontay. I'm going Higgins, but I do like Tracy a lot. What's up, Diego? Mervin, what's up? Choose 2 to flex. Evans, Tolbert, Ridley, Tracy. Tolbert and Tracy for me. Albert, what's up? How are you? Jason, Christian Kirk or Slayton? One's playing a top 3 pass defense, other is bottom 5. Yeah, I go Darius Slayton. I'm a little worried about Christian Kirk. I think he's startable, but I think the ceiling's low this week. Now, once again, sometimes in these overseas games, we see defenses go out the window. So I do think the Bears might end up struggling, but based on matchup, I'll go Slayton. Tracy or Bigsby? Tracy. I think the volume's safer, but I like Tank too. Dell or Eckler in week 6? Dell. Give me Dell and PPR, but Eckler's safe. I'll say Eckler for a floor, Dell for upside. Sammy, Pats, Green Bay or Tampa? Would you consider the Chiefs a top 5 defense? So I'll go Green Bay for the week. Most turnovers in the league. Not the best, not the worst matchup, but just give me Green Bay. They're the defense 3, if I'm correct. I don't think the Chiefs are top 5, but they are a very safe play every week. But they only have double digits once on the year. So, like, they get San Francisco right out the gate on the road. I don't love that. They get the Raiders in week 8. I like that. They're startable against Tampa in week 9. They're at home against Denver in week 10. I like that. They're at Buffalo in week 11. Probably startable. They're at Carolina in week 12. Definitely a good play there. They get the Raiders in week 13. Definitely a good play there. Chargers, Browns the next 2 weeks. Startable there. Not great against Houston. At Pittsburgh, week 17, probably playable. But, they're probably not top 5. Maybe in real life, but fantasy scoring, meh. But yeah, I play Green Bay this week. Tolbert or D-Hop? Give me Tolbert. Trey Sermon or Slayton? I'll still lean with the wide receiver here, but I like Trey Sermon. But give me Slayton. Stroh tonight. Need 2 wide receivers on a flex. McLaurin, B-Tom, Godwin, Chuba. Definitely Scary Terry. Definitely Godwin. I probably go Chuba over Brian Thomas Jr., but I also still really like Brian Thomas Jr., but the matchup lies with Chuba. Diggs has no sauce. My bad. Chaz, who to start? Need 2 running backs and a flex. Connor Cook, Pollard, Bucky, Deontay. It depends. If you own James Cook, you got to kind of make the decision because I can't really answer it because we don't know if he's going to play or not play. He's still questionable. You risk if you do start him, you risk him not playing, and then you're stuck Monday night with needing to pick up Ray Davis, Tyler Johnson, or Braylon Allen, who may not be available. So I would just be worried about that. So if you are worried, then I go Connor, Pollard, Bucky. If you're not worried, I'll go Connor, Cook, Pollard. Devin, what's up, bro? 4-1. Would you dump Chuba, Tolbert, and Kincaid for Jay Jettis? Yes, in a heartbeat. I don't even need to look at the team. Yes. Your boy, non-PPR, Sermon, Doodle, or Brown. Give me Dowdle, but it's definitely close. It's going to depend on if these players score or don't score. TD Flip, what's up? Happy weekend to you, man. 2 questions. Sermon, Gibson, or Bigsby? Sermon based on volume, but I like Bigsby for the upside. Gibson is the odd man out. Pickens, J-Mo, or Cooper? Amari Cooper. He's playing the Eagles. They suck. Secondary sucks. Good question, TD Flip. Sport Dog, what's up, broski? 8-team standard. Lamar, Action, Jackson, Breece Hall, Gibbs, DJ Moore, McLaurin, Kincaid, Higgins. You got Garrett Wilson, Connor, Dowdle. No, I probably leave this lineup as is, but yeah, you got good options no matter what here. Lucas, Trey Sermon this week or Evan Ingram? Trey Sermon. Kincaid for Ayuk? No. Johnny, what's up? Start Kyler or Kirko? I'm going to go Kyler because I think that game script's more competitive. Mike Evans or Tolbert? Yeah. The matchup, the stats say Tolbert. So give me Tolbert. I know it hurts, but give me Tolbert. I find it very hard to sit Higgins, but Tyrone Tracy seems like he is rising, but didn't catch any passes. Yeah, I do like Tyrone Tracy. I mean, always trust your gut. Always, if you guys have a gut feeling, always roll with that first. But I do lean Higgins there. Oh my gosh, am I caught up with the chat? Scary Terry or Garrett Wilson? I mean, I think Garrett Wilson's fine this week. The Bills have been very good against opposing wide receivers, third against the position on the year. But I go Scary Terry. I love this matchup for him. I think it's a good competitive game script. So give me Scary Terry. Andrew, have a good night. Thanks for hanging out. Good luck tomorrow if I don't talk to you. Who to start, Tracy or Ferguson? I mean, generally speaking, I don't want to flex a tight end. But Ferguson, like if I'm going to flex a tight end, it's probably Kittle, Bowers, McBride, Ferguson, maybe Kraft. Those are like the 4 or 5 names that I consider. So if you want to go Ferguson, I'm okay with it. But I think generally speaking, I go Tracy. By the way, guys, I'm going to have to get off in about 5 minutes. That'll make 2 hours for the night. So make sure if you guys have anything that you need to get in last minute, that you get it in. Don't forget, as the night goes on, you can drop a comment on any of the YouTube videos. I will be clearing out all comments at the end of the night. And I will be on, even if it's a short period of time, before tomorrow's games. James Cook, Tracy Irving. Also, should I flex any one of those guys over Dell? I mean, no, you can still start Dell. Plenty of upside. I would... I prefer to start Cook and Tracy. If you're worried that Cook's not going to play, then just play it safe and go Irving and Tracy. But my guess is as good as your guess is if Cook is going to play or not. Vikings bye. They're averaging 15. I could drop Ingram or Raheem, or Vikings. Don't roll without a defense. I'm never a fan of not starting a defense or kicker just because your defense or kicker are on bye week. Always throw somebody in there. I would drop... I mean, it depends. What tight end do you have? You have Ferguson, but you're also asking, should you drop Ingram for Trey Sermon? I don't think you need to roster Raheem Mostert. I just don't. I don't like anything about this Dolphins backfield. So if you get the Vikings and get Trey Sermon and drop Ingram and Raheem Mostert, I'm okay with that. Yeah, if the Vikings defense got dropped in your league, they're definitely worth picking up. Brandon, Eckler or Slayton? I'm going to go Slayton, but I think it's really Eckler for a floor or Slayton for upside. Hawaiian, King Kong, need 3. Harris, Tracy, Sermon, Bigsby. I bench Najee Harris here. Just give me Tracy, Sermon, and Bigsby. I don't want anything to do with Najee. GT Sport, what's up? Godwin, Flowers, or B-Tom? I mean, the matchups are with Godwin and Flowers, so I probably start them. But I think B-Tom can still pop off. He just has a bad matchup against the Bears. But, I mean, B-Tom is that guy. So if you want to go B-Tom, the risk with Zay Flowers is like, do the Ravens just run the football down the Commander's throat, not throw? If that happens, then Zay Flowers is screwed. If it's a normal football game where Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson aren't bullying an opposing defense, and Zay Flowers will probably have 10-plus targets because that's what we've seen in every other matchup. And then he has a double-digit stat line. I mean, literally. We have 2 matchups where Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson did everything essentially against the Cowboys and the Bills, and every other matchup, Zay Flowers has 10-plus targets and double-digit fantasy points. So I do think this is a good competitive game script. It's a great matchup for Zay Flowers. If you want to go B-Tom here, I don't blame you, but I do like Godwin for sure. All good options, probably very close between these 3. Curtis, Bigsby, Brown, Sermon, Bucky, Slayton, Michael Wilson. Oh, sit 2? I'll sit Michael Wilson. He does have a good matchup, but much more volatile. I think you probably try and play Darius Slayton here, and you bench whichever running back you like the least. And if I'm not mistaken, Chase Brown has the worst matchup. I think the Lions are 9th against the position. Yeah, they are. But it's not like let's see. The Bears are 22nd. That's good. Sermon's got the Titans, and they're 13th. So pick your poison. You're welcome, Lucas. Chase Javonte or Ridley? Javonte for a floor, Ridley for upside, but risk. I mean, Ridley's got the matchup here. He gets the Colts. Javonte has a bad matchup. So if you want the upside, go Ridley. Okie doke, artichokes. Guys, hit the like. Check out the links down below. Do all the YouTube things. And thank you guys so much for the fantasy questions tonight. Fantastic stream tonight. Absolutely fantastic stream tonight. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, talking fantasy, and letting me guys lead you to a victory, hopefully. Crossing my fingers for all you guys. It's been a crazy year so far. We're about to be 6 weeks in already. We're almost to week 8, almost halfway through. Crazy. I know the season's 17 weeks, but basically almost halfway through. It's flying by. Make sure you guys slow down and enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Okay, it's the best time of the year. Holidays are coming up. The fall air is out there. The football season's here. Just enjoy it, guys. It only lasts so long, right? So, all right, there's my speech. And thank you guys once again for all the fantasy questions tonight. All right. Flex Slayton or Dobbs. I'll go Slayton over Dobbs. Chandler. I'll go Goddard over Ingram, and I'll go the Broncos defense. Slayton, Goddard, Broncos. Lucas, see you tomorrow. Chase, you are welcome, my dude. I will be back on tomorrow before the games. I'll have a video coming out first thing in the morning. Make sure you guys check it out. Drop me a comment and hit the like. Guys, we have everything you could possibly need here on the channel for the week. Players to add before tomorrow. Sneaky starts for the week. Players to trade for. Players that you can't bench. Kickers you have to start. Kickers rankings. We've got a top 20. Quarterbacks and tight ends, running backs, wide receivers, start sits for every single matchup. Must start defenses and streams. We got it all. Check out the channels on the video. Check out the videos on the channel. My bad. And that'll do it for the night. So love you guys, man. Love this community. Love the catch fam. With that, I'll say thank you guys so much for watching and or listening. And good luck tomorrow if I don't talk to you before the games kick off. And with that, I'll say, remember, saw it here on the catch. And